So when we are thinking of wickedness and corruption and darkness, it is not just in the offices, but it is at every level. 99% of the traffic in Lagos is caused by selfishness. Yes, the roads are bad and the vehicles are many. But once you find a line, some other people will jump. Everybody wants to be first. In case you don't know, one airport in Nigeria where you will never find a queue is Akanu Ibiam International Airport in Enugu. Never. The plane never leaves anybody on ground. But once they announce that the plane is boarded, we all gather like flies around the boarding gate. Nobody stands behind the other. If they have started it, maybe they started yesterday. Selfishness. Now, I said this to tell you the level. If you want to know what selfishness in business does, if you want to know what selfishness in trade does, think of what China is doing to the world. The only morality in China is gain. For more than 50 years, that country had no religion. All they know is gain. So you are wasting your time complaining about bad products you import from China. And besides, our people also want that. They can package anything. It's your problem. That is how bad it can be when we do not realize that the light of the gospel is needed even in our interpersonal transactions in trade. It's all about values. And finally, maybe also in terms when we are discussing in the discussions, a few more things will come up. Our way of being church. Today we celebrate Michael Iwenetans, who turned his back to all the things we are now killing ourselves for. Money, position, fame, power. And he went to become a monk. He was a parish priest before, and a very devoted one and committed one at that. Until his death, my father, who was a mission teacher, remembered Michael Iwenetans as a very committed supervisor of Catholic schools. When he went to the monastery, it was taken as if he had done the wrong thing that will be counter-witnessing to the Christian community, in Igbo land especially. Any of you who has read the book by the historian Ikenga Raphael Ozigbo, that controversial and highly, excessively polemical book, Igbo Christianity, the Onitsha Connection, he argues or he posits that in promoting Tansi as an example of sainthood or holiness, we would be presenting a person whom others wouldn't even see as attractive and whom nobody would want to imitate. Ozigbo wrote this book, I think in the 80s. But now, with the benefit of a hindsight, one can see how wrong he was then and he still is. Because in my opinion, one, Tansi has even attracted so many disciples. If you check the number of monastic communities in Nigeria today, and if you ever happen to visit any of them, the Dominicans here are not a monastic community. They are active missionaries and preachers. But the joy that comes from their community life is infective. You'll be wondering what is giving them that joy. If you examine, you may find out that alcohol comes into their table once in a while and they make a big joke of it. And yet, anytime they are dining and it is not retreat or recollection, they are so happy and so loud. The same thing with monks. Because this is teaching us that the monastic life that Tansi aspired to and live is the best antidote to the sadness we are experiencing because of our rush and our struggles today in Nigeria. It's the correct antidote. And apart from the number of monastic communities in Nigeria, check the number of people who troop to monasteries in order to have some quietness of monastic communities. And that is the power of holiness. That is the power of witnessing. That is the power of silence where words cannot communicate. And that is what Nigeria needs today. Our witnessing cannot be in a struggle. We have to learn from history. Being a church of love, of prayer, and of sharing has always been more successful than being a church of struggle, of battles, and of possessions. The church fought wars in the past. The most infamous of them all were the Crusades. The church fought the Crusades to keep the Holy Land. Still, we lost control of the Holy Land. But the church confronted the most powerful empire in the world then, the Roman Empire. And over a period of about 200-300 years, without an army and without fighting a shot, the church dismantled through love and forgiveness the apparatus of that powerful empire. We have to learn from history. What is harming the church today is our way of being church, our internal dynamism. I will give an example. What we call Pentecostal movement in Nigeria today has nothing to do with the Holy Spirit. Because Pentecostalism is about the sharing and promotion of the gifts of the Spirit. What we have now is privatization and commercialization of the gifts of the Spirit. And sometimes we are not even sure of which Spirit is giving the gifts. What do you say now about some even reverend fathers and men and women religious who compete with some of these Pentecostal ministers in the amassing of wealth, power, fame through very questionable means? That harms the church. That weakens our witnessing. Because whereas the church is so gifted in her children, it is so impoverished spiritually because the children have privatized the gifts. Now we have to put these gifts to use for the church, in the church, for the larger community. And that is the only way we can hope that our witness, our way of being church, collectively can also become witnessing with courage and with love